Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Rob Fowler, the good guy Nate. We're gonna come at you with some basketball. Do a little predictions tonight. Just get everything started. Um, Nate, you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh yeah, so as he just stated, the good guy, Lakers fan. I know he got OKC repping today, but it's Laker Nation, man, Laker Nation. So excited about the season and just trying to get ready for some NBA basketball.
Yeah, man. And in the interest of fairness, when we go through the divisions, I'm not going to take the Northwest Division, so I don't have to talk about the Thunder, and I'm not going to let him take the Pacific Division, so he don't have to talk about the Lakers. So
Oh
you'll get to
yeah,
hear some unbiased opinions. Although
yes,
I'm pretty biased against
unbiased.
the Lakers, whatever.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah, so what we're gonna do, or what I had planned to do, is just go through the division, predictions, records, comments about the team, whatever, and then we can do a little rebuttal and see where it goes. I got you down for the Southeast Division first.
yep, Southeast Division. So starting off in the Eastern Conference, not a very strong division. You probably on well, not probably. You're going to have two teams that's probably going to be in the playoff hunt. It's going to be, of course, the Miami Heat, and we have to hope that the Orlando Magic didn't fool us last year and fall off the face of the earth um, this year. But it should definitely be a race with those two teams to see who's actually going to win the division. Um, Hawks, Wizards, Hornets, not expecting to see a lot from there. Got some good players on those teams. Hopefully, LaMelo can stay healthy. Trey Young needs to stay healthy as well. See what he's going to do with the team that they have there. The Wizards, looking forward to seeing some blooper reels from Poole and Kuz again.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's definitely going to come between. I'll say the Heat and Orlando. We pretty much know the Heat DNA and how they perform. I really do think this is probably going to be Bam Adebayo's best year. Having that gold medal, I think is going to be big. Then he's rumored to be dating the best player in the WNBA. So the guy's not going to jump
whatever
on him.
he
And say,
is.
yeah, he's not going to let the guy say, "Hey man, your girlfriend's a better player than you, man. What you gonna do?" So I think Bam is going to have a good year. I think he's going to be the leader that they need. So I expect the Heat to win the Southeast Division. Um, Probably comfortably. I think they'll probably edge Orlando out. I say by 8 games, but I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna win. I think they're gonna win the division.
All
That's what
right,
I think. That's what I
eight
think. That's what
games,
I
eight
think.
games.
Eight 8 games. 8 games.
This is for a team that has underperformed at all the last regular season, sneaking in as 7, 8 seed play-in teams. They gonna
Yep.
win by 8 games over last year's what 4 or 5 seed Orlando.
Yep. I think so, man.
Woo. Okay.
So what? That's what I think. That's what I
Got
think,
me on
man.
that
That's
one.
what
I
I.
was I wasn't expecting that one.
Yeah. And that's not a hot take. We're saving the hot take. That's not a hot take. That's just what I think is going to happen.
Oh man. Okay. Uh, I do think I'm gonna give you a little rebuttal. I do think Orlando will be pretty good, although Jalen Suggs getting 30 million a year kind of brought back some flashbacks to Bismack Biyombo getting his back too. So I don't know, but I do feel like they're the two top teams in that division, 100%. Atlanta without Murray's probably going to be 500 at best. Playing team destined. I really think if Lamelo stays healthy, that Charlotte's going to be on Atlanta pretty quick. I haven't seen a lot of Tijon Salam, but the highlights I have seen, he's kind of a stretch big a little bit. He moves pretty well. Again, I haven't seen a whole lot, but yeah. And then Washington's probably going to be the worst team in the league, especially if they trade Kuzma or Poole for that matter. Because I mean, dude can still get buckets. He's just goofy.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, next up will be me for the Central Division. I'm gonna do. I had some records printed out or typed up or whatever, so I can remind myself of what I'm thinking. I'm gonna start at the bottom and work my way up because the top's a little. The Central Division's about like the Southeast, where it's pretty top heavy and the bottom's pretty bad. And believe it or not, I've actually got the Bulls coming in last in this division. I see
Okay.
a major fall off from the Bulls. Um, you lose the defense in Alex Caruso and you gain no defense in Josh Giddey. Obviously, I'm wearing OKC stuff, so I am a fan of Josh Giddey, but he plays best with the ball, and they got too many guards. I would assume, though, Kobe White, you got Levine still there, you got Vucevic steps out and shoots the ball. Who am I forgetting? Lonzo's going to have the ball a lot, and he's got to have the ball. I don't think Giddey's going to fit in very well, and this is not a hot take. This is something I feel like they're going to trade at least two of those guys, the Vucevic, Lonzo's, Zach LaVine, somebody. They're going to give the keys to Kobe White and let him do what he does, and they'll be fine after that. But they're gonna go downhill this year pretty hard. I feel like once they start trading everybody off. So
yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
Huh?
I can see that. I can see that.
And I got to win in 29 games. I don't think they're going to be good even before they trade everybody off. So it's going to be bad in Chicago, I feel like. Next up, I got the Pistons. I got them winning 30 games. They won 16 last year, but you look at Jalen Duren and Cade Cunningham only played 61, 62 games each. They added Tobias Harris, Paul Reed, Tim Hardaway, Malik Beasley, drafted Ron Holland. They're going to get good real quick. Personally, I am a big fan of Jalen Duren. I've been salty that Sam Presti didn't draft him a couple years ago instead of drafting Ousmane Dieng, but hey, whatever. So what's your take on Detroit? Like I said, I feel like they're going to get a lot better pretty quick.
It could happen because I think Detroit, they have JJ, right? Old Cavs coach.
I forgot because they just got rid of Monty, so they got somebody.
Yeah, I think they got JJ Bickerstaff when he got let go from the Cavs. I think he rebounded. It went there, so I think he's going to have a chip pretty much on his shoulder from a coaching standpoint. And you can't be any worse than what the team did last year. So I do agree they are going to have a better record. And what you probably stated for their record is probably going to be money. With that team, I think they'll be able to get some games. I think Cade is big time. I think he's good. I think development is just going to be very important for him because he still turns the ball over a lot, probably because he has the ball in his hands so much. Right. But I do think I think they can get 30. I think they can get 30 games.
30's good. Okay. Now the top three is the tricky part. I got the Cavs at 47 wins, the Bucks at 48 wins, and the Pacers at 49 wins. I think they're all just going to kind of beat up on each other a little bit, and that's about where they all finished last year. Indiana was at 47, Milwaukee 49, Cleveland 48. So it's going to be the same scenario. Cleveland lost Max Strus for 6 weeks. That's going to kind of be a big loss. They drafted Jalen Tyson from Cal, and he can get buckets. I think he's going to be okay filling in, kind of in that same shooter, scorer type role as Max Strus.
Giannis got Levert.
Yeah, they kept everybody. The biggest thing they have is keeping Donovan Mitchell. I mean, you get rid of him, you get rid of a franchise type player, and it's hard to come back from that sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
Milwaukee, they are who they are. It's Giannis and Dame show. If they don't play 75 games, then they're probably not going to win very much. And Brook Lopez, okay. They're
pretty old.
He's kind of close to my age. I don't know. And then I think Indiana, though, I think they're I think the way Tyrese Halliburton turned the corner and kind of came into a superstar type player, they added some good guys in the draft. The big thing for me for them is they've got Pascal Siakam for the entire season. He played good down the stretch for them after they picked him up. So I think the full season of Siakam gets them the division crown.
I can see that. I can see that. You know, you have another year of Benedict Mathurin. I would love to see him in the starting lineup, but I think they're going to continue to bring him off the bench.
Okay.
To me, he's a bucket guy. What's interesting and what I really have to keep my eye on the Milwaukee Bucks, man. Milwaukee Bucks. Chris Middleton does seem to get nicked and get nacked quite a bit. I
Yeah.
feel as though a first round exit or so, I think something could really be shaking up in Milwaukee. You may have to keep our eyes on Giannis.
It'll be Dame before it's Giannis. I think Giannis is a Milwaukee lifer as long as they let him. But Dame, it's hard to go from winning an NBA title and then 2 years later, you're talking first round exit, maybe back to back years by adding a guy like Dame.
Yep.
I like Dame. Dame's a great player, but their style of play just may not mesh. I mean, sometimes it's just like that.
Yep.
I'm sure if they traded Dame, they could get a haul that would work well with Giannis. They could probably get whoever they wanted to outside of your KDs, ADs, LeBrons, those type.
That's true. And I really think that we get a very good season out of Dame. I think Dame, I think he had some personal issues going on, been in Portland his entire, life. We know Milwaukee was not the preferred destination because he wanted to go to Miami. So I think it may be multiple, factors there. I think there's somebody to keep our eye on. Those first 10, you go 3-7, people may get to. I think the phones may start to ring a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up their schedule real fast to see who they got in those first 10, just to kind of add a little juice to what you're talking about right now.
Because we know, Doc has gotten a lot of criticism, and I'm actually a Doc fan.
He has a lot that he's got to. Like, he had the Lob City teams, and they never won anything. Everywhere he's been, they've had really good teams, but have they ever truly won anything?
Exactly. And he has blown multiple 3-1 leads, even back to the Orlando days. So those things tend to matter, man, in the playoffs. But I like him. So we'll just have to see. I want him to be successful. They got Darvin Ham back on the sidelines. He was able to win as an assistant coach. So having him back there with a lot of those core guys, may be good to the point that we'll see a little something different as well.
All right. So here's your first 10 games for Milwaukee. They're at Philly, in Chicago, at the Nets, at the Celtics, at the Grizzlies, a home and a home with the Cavaliers, against the Jazz, at the Knicks, and versus the Celtics.
They got the Celtics twice.
Got the Celtics twice, got the Cavs twice, got the Knicks on the road, got the Sixers on the road, and got Memphis, who, 2 years ago they were, top 3 seed?
Yeah, Memphis is going to be good again. When do they have Philly? Is that their what game?
That's tomorrow. That's the opening game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they'll be fine. No Paul George, no Embiid. So they definitely want to get off to a good start. I will say that.
I could see them being 4-6 or 5-5 legitimately, though. They could lose both to Boston. They could split with Cleveland, home and home. You still got at the Knicks and at the Grizzlies. I mean, that's.
Yeah. I think you mentioned Brooklyn. You mentioned Utah.
Brooklyn, Utah, and Chicago. I'm not even gonna that they got 3 wins. I feel like pretty safe to say.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, unless
possible.
something weird happens, but
That
all
is
right.
possible.
Well, you got anything more to add for the Central Division?
Not for the Central Division, but I will add, just going back to the Southeast, I would keep my eye on Jalen Johnson for Most Improved Player.
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
keep your eye on him.
for everybody that's watching, me and Nate are both in the same fantasy basketball league, and
He stole them from me, you all. That's basically what he was about to say.
he
He
made a
stole them
comment
from
that
me.
said his next pick was going to be a good one. I knew exactly what he was talking about because I was looking right at him, and I went ahead and took him to make sure I didn't lose out. So
Yeah.
I'm all for Jalen Johnson. I think he's going to take over that secondary scorer role behind Trae Young, and it's going to be nice.
Definitely. He does a little bit of everything. He plays defense, he can score, he can rebound. So I think yep, he's going to be good. He's going to be pretty good for him. But that's pretty much all I have for that division.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you finish up this first section right here and go to the Atlantic Division, which is probably going to be the best of the Eastern Conference.
By far. And with this division, you really have 3 teams that really, can win the East. Just being honest. Of course, we know we have Boston, we have Philly, we have New York, Raptors, and Brooklyn. We pretty much know what's going to be their fate. I think Brooklyn can be okay, but I don't think they're not going to be in playoff contention. Boston is going to be Boston. I love their coach. I know they're going to be defending their title. I don't think he's going to allow them to be complacent at all. Now with the summer, with everything that kind of happened with Jaylen Brown, with Jason Tatum, not getting the minutes in the on the Olympic team, Jaylen Brown not making, the Olympic team. I really think both those gentlemen are going to have something to prove. They're going to be without Porzingis for a while, but if you're going to be missing any one, that's probably the one that you want to be missing because they already have the chemistry playing without him. So he's someone else that misses quite a few games, but
Yep.
if he's healthy, it's a mismatch every night. I don't care who's checking him. It's going to be a mismatch.
Well, having Drew Holiday running the show, he's top notch floor general type player. I think the X factor to Boston, or for Boston to me, is going to be Derek White. I think his experience with the Olympic team, playing with those guys, getting minutes, coming off the championship win last year, I think that was huge for his development as a player overall. And he's already a great defender, and he does what he does, and he does it well.
I agree, man. I agree. So, Boston, and then their team is so young, the way the contracts are structured. Boston is probably going to be the team to beat, probably in the entire NBA next 3 or 4 years.
It's hard to argue. Tatum's, 24, 25.
Yep,
Jaylen Brown's
Brown.
older than that, or about the same age. I mean, when you have two high-level superstars that are that young and that hungry, and honestly, they probably feel a little mistreated. Like you was talking about, Jaylen Brown didn't even make the Olympic team, and Tatum didn't even play at all in the first game or whatever. And I mean, you chip on your shoulder. That's a boulder on the shoulder. Like that's not even a chip. That's
Exactly. Derek White is still young. You have a young coach. Porzingis is young. They have a pretty good bench. So I like them. I like them a lot. So, not much to say about the defending champions. We pretty much know what they're going to bring to the table. They're going to be ready. What's interesting, probably the team that's the most impressive in terms of a haul of players that they acquired during the offseason, definitely the New York Knicks. Definitely the New York Knicks. I think it's just an exciting time right now for New York sports. The Liberty just won championship. That was their first one in franchise history. The fact that you have the Yankees and you have the Dodgers in the World Series, and you have the New York Knicks. So this could be pretty exciting. I'm anxious to see how it's going to all play out with Cat. We know what Bridges brings to the table. Now the interesting thing is Bridges is going to be playing meaningful basketball now. You always have to pay attention when you have guys that's on these bad teams, and then they're actually have to play winning basketball. But the good part is, even with Bridges, what option is he on that team? I mean, if Mikal Bridges is on my team and he's the third or fourth option, I have a pretty good team.
Yeah, him being the lead dog in Brooklyn, he's good, but he's not a one. He fits better in that 2.5, 3 kind of role. And now that he's going to be a 3, 4, maybe even a 5, depending on what OG's doing that night, that makes him. It takes him from here to here, and it takes the team from there to there.
That's true, man. So kind of worried about them from a front court standpoint, because I really think they're probably not going to have Mitchell Robinson for a very large portion of this season again. So I think that they do have something there that they may want to address. Lost Hartenstein, that was a huge blow for them and a good win for you all. But I think they're definitely going to miss him, because when Mitchell Robinson, was out, you knew that they had someone that could pretty much go right into that role and basically do all of the same things that Mitchell Robinson, can do.
Right.
Defend, protect the rim, get some putbacks. So I think they're going to be right there. I'm ready to see it all pretty much, fall into place. The other team, the Philadelphia 76ers.
Glad you got them, because I don't want to talk about them.
Very interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. I like Nick Nurse. I think he's a great coach. You have Maxey. And I think Maxey is gonna what it kind of reminds me of is, not to make a Laker comparison. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Maxey drops Maxey may have about a 10 or 15 game stretch where he probably scores 30 points at least for a huge stretch of time, because Paul George is already hurt. He's going to be, I think, reevaluated in a week.
Mm-hmm.
Embiid, made a statement that he doubts that he's going to play in back-to-back games for the remainder of his career.
And I actually, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. I actually think that I saw that Paul George said he was going to be missing some back-to-backs too when he comes back. I don't know if that's true or not, but what I saw.
Which is crazy to me. Now I know that they look pretty good on paper. We know that chemistry matters. Chemistry is huge. You just think that you could just show up, in April, and you can just take on whoever you want to take on without having that chemistry with your team. You'll be home pretty quick. So I hope that Embiid wasn't serious. I hope that Nick Nurse and their medical staff holds him accountable. And if he is able to play, he should play. Now, if anything, if it's a back-to-back, if you need to only play 20 or 25 minutes, say, hey, guys, it's a back-to-back for me. I'm going to be out there. But, hey, Paul George, Maxey, I need y'all to get it. I need y'all to get us where we need to go to. But to just verbally say that he's not going to be paying back-to-backs, that's bad for the league. And I really hope that he's not allowed to do that. But, of course, Boston will reign supreme. Now, I will say they won't dominate the Eastern Conference or the NBA like they did last year. I think the win differential, I think they were clearly head above everybody else from both conferences. They really dominated the East, but we all know that they're definitely going to win the East. Second seed, I think, is going to be the New York Knicks. I think that they're probably going to edge them about 5 games though, because I think the Knicks are going to be right there. I think Boston is going to win over 60 games. Boston is probably going to win 64 games. And I'll say the Knicks win 60.
Okay. One player I was going to ask you about for the Knicks, talk about Mitchell Robinson being out for a little while and not having a heart sign anymore, is Precious Achiuwa. I think I'm saying it wrong. He's a big body that can play a little bit. I think he can fill that Mitchell Robinson role pretty well. We know OG's a big body that can play defense on pretty much anybody. I don't think they're going to hurt too bad, but what I worry about the most is their depth. Like DiVincenzo was huge last year, and Julius Randle obviously was Julius Randle. But you're talking Oz McBride's going to be getting 20 minutes a game.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
And 40.
Yeah, and one thing about Thibodeau don't mind running his guys in the ground. We've seen that. He will have those guys out there playing huge minutes. I mean, he knows what's at stake. I mean, just from the moves that they've made, they're not being patient. They're like, we got an opportunity right now. Let's go after it. So I think that's what they're doing. But yeah, definitely losing DiVincenzo, that's critical, because you can kind of say that Cat and Randle almost canceled each other out.
Yeah.
In a sense.
They both can score. They're both going to step out and shoot it. They're not going to play great defense. Just they're going to score, and they're going to do what they do, get 6, 7, 8 rebounds a game, maybe 10 every once in a while. But
but that's how I think it's going to play out between those 3 teams. Philly, man, you really just have to wonder, okay, how much help are they going to have? So we really have to see what's going to happen with that. Are back-to-back games going to be played by their big 2? Because we know Max is going to be out there. So it's a lot of things I think that has to be decided. Having Drummond as a backup big man, that's huge. No one is really talking about it, but he's going to get in there. He's going to get those rebounds. So, but hopefully, Embiid is back on the court sooner than later. So we can kind of see what's going to happen. But yeah, definitely Boston is going to lead the pack, and New York is going to be right there as well.
Yeah. I mentioned Paul Reed earlier. I think losing him as a secondary big alongside Drummond could be substantial. But Drummond, when he got minutes last year, he was getting 15 boards a night in 15 to 20 minutes. He was getting there and doing everything known to man for his career. Honestly, he's kept it alive by being able to rebound and do all that, because he had fallen off for quite a little bit.
Yeah. Yep, he had, man. Had a few stops, but we'll see what's going to happen.
All right, we're going to transition and go back to the Southwest Division. I'm going to leave our last 2 divisions being, the Thunder Division and the Laker Division, so we'll end with them. Southwest Division, for me, I think it's going to be a pretty good division. I've got Dallas winning it. It's hard to bet against Luka. It's hard to bet against Kyrie if they're playing the whole season. Kyrie looked like an entirely different player, I think mentally, last year. He seemed a lot more stable than he's put off in the past, and him and Luka played well together. I think the big thing for them, they lost Tim Hardaway, but you had Klay Thompson to shoot. The big thing for them, and this is what beat the Thunder last year, was P.J. Washington and Daniel Gafford. They came over at the trade deadline, and once they came over, their stock skyrocketed for the entire team. And they were really probably the favorites going into the Western Conference side of the playoffs because of the big guys, because of Luka, because of Kyrie. I think having them the entire season, just like Siakam, I think that's going to be massive. And they're good. I've got them at 53 wins, and now that I'm looking at it, probably thinking more like 56. They're good.
Yeah, they're going to be good.
You got any argument on Dallas? Because I'll go on if you don't.
No, not at all, man. I think they're going to be solid. The trade that they made mid-season that filled the holes that they needed, and like that pretty much catapulted them to where they, eventually ended up being in terms of winning the conference. So no rebuttal there, man.
All right, second place. I've got Houston. For whatever reason, I am a big fan of what Houston's got going on. They were 41-41 last year. I've got them at 49-33 this year. 8-game jump. I think Fred VanVleet, I think he's going to run the show. I think he's going to be fine, just like he has been the last few years. I like the draft pick of Reed Shepard. I think he's a solid player. Alperen Sengun, you know how I feel about him. I wish the Thunder had him too, but hey, whatever. But he is evolving as a player. But Jalen Green, that dude's going to go nuts. The second half of last season, when he got free reign and he just went off, and I don't think it's going to stop.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And speaking of Sengun and Jalen Green, they just got paid. They just signed some pretty lucrative deals, so they have the buy-in of the franchise. The franchise sees a lot. So I think they're going to be good too, man. I think it's going to be scary. Because if you look at it, having Jabari, even the guy that we love to talk about and kind of crack on, even Dylan Brooks. He may say some crazy things, but when he's on that court, you know what he's trying to do.
Yep. They got another guy down low too. That's kind of like the Dylan Brooks of big men. I don't know how much he's going to play, but Steven Adams being on the floor.
Oh yeah.
He will do whatever it takes for his team to win. He will body up on folks. He's going to stand up for his teammates. Him and Dylan Brooks being out there is really going to get under some people's skin, I feel like.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Got a lot of potential, man. There's a lot of different things you can do from a lineup standpoint. You can play different ways. Because even Jabari, he's a point forward to me.
Yeah.
Point forward capability. Yeah. So he really can, he could do a few things. So even with them, they didn't make the playoffs. They caught fire at the end of the season. They could have been doing that for an extra 5 or so games. We don't know how it would have turned out.
Well, think about it. Sengun missed the last 2 weeks or so of the season when he thought he put his ankle up, but yeah. So I think Houston is on their way, and they've got good leadership on the bench too. I mean, they got good coaching staff. They got young, talented players. They've got veterans. They've got the defensive-minded guys. I think they've got it all to not necessarily give Dallas a run for their money, but to at least be in shouting distance.
I agree for sure.
The next two, Memphis, New Orleans. I have Memphis at 45 wins, New Orleans at 43. I could go either way on them. Memphis, I had predicted as the 3 seed in the Western Conference last year, and then they called me and you to come play for them because everybody was hurt. If Ja doesn't stay out of trouble, if Ja doesn't stay healthy, they're not going to be good. Desmond Bane's got to stay healthy. Marcus Smart wasn't healthy. Jarrett Jackson's not healthy. He's not even starting tomorrow or Thursday, whenever they have the first game. He's already hurt. They have to be healthy or they may not win 20 games.
Yeah, and one thing that I will say, just from a coaching standpoint, and I think they had a lot of success with the coach that they have. You miss the playoffs again, you're probably going to have another coach.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. We know injuries plagued them. It kind of killed them last year, man. But same team, and you could say that they've gotten better with the addition of drafting Edey.
Yep.
I think that's going to be huge. So very excited to see them and what they could possibly, be this year. Um, Pelicans are interested. I think Murray was very excited in terms of what his role, typically is. Because of course we know that he had to sacrifice his game playing alongside Trae Young.
Yep.
I think now, he's going to be able to go to his natural position. If you look at it, man, they're scary. Having DeJounte Murray, on your team, may be a third option. And the man can ball. He can ball. So I mean, you having these real good players that's in these situations when they don't have to be that guy. If Zion looks healthy, he looks good,
Yep.
but I think he may not play tomorrow. He may be sick. So we'll see what happens there.
Overall, talent-wise, I'm not going to compare them to the Knicks, but I'll compare their structure to the Knicks, where you've got your ones and your twos, Zion, Jalen Brunson, you've got these guys, but you've got guys like Mikal Bridges and CJ McCollum as your fourth option. CJ McCollum is your fourth option, and we're talking about this, at least I am, talking about this team barely being over 500 and probably in a play-in spot.
Yeah.
But, I don't even know how that works in my brain, but that's what I came up with. I feel like the Brandon Ingram situation throughout the offseason, I feel like that's just it's going to kind of weigh on them as a team. And I really feel like he still could get traded. Which may open up the ball more for Zion, for CJ, for Murray. If they trade Ingram, depending on they're not going to go after draft picks, I don't think. I think they'll go after another player plus picks. Because they lost depth getting Murray. They lost some good depth. Herb Jones is going to be there, or did he get traded?
No, they still have Herb, and they still have the other young guy as well, the guy that shoots. I can't think of his name. But they're young core.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're going to be good. I think that they're going to be pretty good too. They're going to be pretty good.
But that division is Dallas is obviously the cream of the crop with Houston right behind. But Houston, Memphis, New Orleans, if they're all healthy, which they have to prove that they can be healthy, I think they're all going to be in the low to mid 40s range of wins, which in the Western Conference, that's you got to get that many to even get close.
Yeah, you can in the Western Conference, you can win 45 games and not be in the play. Yeah. It can happen. It can definitely happen, especially this up and coming season. I mean, you have a lot. Just looking at it, Houston didn't make the playoffs. You have great teams that didn't make it. They were on the outside looking in. They're probably going to be on the inside this year.
Yeah.
So someone's not going to make it, man.
Yeah. I'm going to round out this division with San Antonio, which I think they're the clear bottom feeder, but Wemby is Wemby. He's going to be Wemby. Chris Paul is Chris Paul. He's going to do exactly what he did here in Oklahoma City. He's going to come in. He's going to take these young guys. He's going to turn them into star players or help mold them to that star player style. And then he's probably going to get traded to a contender and be a backup there and get a chance for a ring. I hate that Devin Vassell's hurt again, but that seems to be his calling card now, is that he's going to play 55 games a year and he's going to be hurt for a week or two at a time, 3 or 4 times a year. The rest of their team, okay. They added Harrison Barnes, Zach Collins, okay. I mean, it's strictly going to be what Wemby does, CP3 does. Keldon Johnson's okay. I do like the fact that they added Stephon Castle from the draft from UConn. I think he will be the biggest beneficiary of CP3, obviously being the backup point guard, but being a young point guard and coming from such a quality program like UConn, he already knows what is expected of him, and it's just going to get better with Chris Paul guiding him. So I don't have much else to say about San Antonio. They're not going to be great. Wemby is, and Castle's going to be – he's going to be good by the end of the year.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm gonna say, man, the player that he's so inconsistent, but he's good. Keldon Johnson. He has to find a way to be consistent because the man can play. You're gonna have Chris Paul there. I think Wemby is going to pretty much show where everyone kind of sees what it is, but I think it's going to be a crazy, season for him. But yeah, they need a little bit more from Keldon Johnson. I think they'll be good if they can get that.
Yeah. All right. Last two divisions.
All right.
You go ahead with the Northwest and see what you got.
All right. So just like we just talked about, pretty much possibly the strongest division in the Eastern Conference, which is the Atlantic Division. You have three teams that can contend there, exact same way with the Northwest Division. The Thunder, Timberwolves, Denver is still Denver. They paid their guys because I was kind of nervous. I didn't know if everyone was going to get their money, but they took care of Jamal Murray. They took care of Aaron Gordon as well. Now, what I will say, they're paying their four guys quite a bit of money. So you don't have a lot of flexibility in terms of roster moves outside of those four guys. So you have to maximize that. So if anyone, keep your eye on Michael Porter Jr.
He's going to have to step up and be more consistent. He's in that Keldon Johnson mode right now where he can have a game where he's hitting 6 threes, 7 threes.
Especially if he plays against the Lakers.
Where he shoots 11 and don't hit none of them.
Especially if he plays against the Lakers.
Yeah.
Especially if he plays against the Lakers. But he's the one, he's going to have to do more offensively. We're really not offensively. He's going to have to do more than just being a shooter. Yeah. He can rebound, which is good, but I think he's going to be the one that they're going to have to find a way to get more out of him. Of course, the Wolves and the Thunder. Now the thing is with the Thunder, they address every concern that they needed to address. We just have to be honest. Even during the whole season, I think a few conversations we had, like, man, if they had Hartenstein, they'll be nasty. Because
we may not have said his name directly, but it was always a guy like him that's not scared to get in there and play defense like Chet was doing, but he outweighs Chet by 70 pounds, and he's he's that kind of guy. And I mean, obviously we had the number 1 seed last year, so not having him for the first couple months of the season this year to me is not necessarily a big deal. We're going to play just the same as we did at the beginning of last year.
Yep.
And then when he comes back and he makes that run right there, I think that will, to me, I think that set us over the top. Him and Caruso were huge.
Yeah, amazing. Like those were huge. And the fact that with the draft capital that they have, worst case scenario, let's say, they don't have a very good season. That could change so quickly with the picks. If they're underperforming in the trade deadline that's coming, boom. Whatever they want to happen, they got the picks to make it happen. But even outside of that, man, I think SGA is here. Jalen, Chet, Caruso, Dort and Caruso in the game at the same time. The problems that Kyrie, gave to you guys. You have, 2 guys that you can pretty much switch. Hey, you got in the first half, or I got in the second half, or from a possession, standpoint, they're going to be scary, and they're probably the most complete team in the West. We have to kind of see what's going to happen with the chemistry with Ant-Man and Julius Randle. Randle is aggressive. He's, Cat always was criticized for kind of being soft, kind of being timid. I think Randle is going to be that dog, and him alongside with Ant-Man, I think they're going to be a problem. They're definitely going to be a problem. Utah, Portland, we're not expecting anything from those teams. We pretty much kind of know the position that they're going to be in. I think Utah just going to want to try to obtain some draft picks. I think we all thought they probably would part ways with Lauri Markkanen to get some draft picks. I know that the Golden State Warriors were trying to get them.
They don't have enough, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they're going to, because I think they paid him. I think Utah paid Lauri Markkanen.
He got a
yeah. So he's going to be there. I mean, they still have Jordan Clarkson, which I think will be a good asset for any team. Jordan Clarkson can go to. It's 30 teams in the league. Jordan Clarkson can play on 29 of them.
Yep.
And if he gets on a contender, it could be pretty scary.
You still got Sexton out there. Sexton and Clarkson could be big pieces to be traded off because they can come off the bench and do what they're going to do and be good at it.
Yep. Still got John Collins. Got Walker Kessler. Over there. So you have some okay players with some okay pieces, but that they're also tradable pieces, as well. So kind of got to see what's going to happen there. But Thunder definitely going to win. Going to win the West. They should win the West. I say the Thunder probably going to win. I'll give the Thunder. I'll give them 63 games. I'll give them 63.
I'm not gonna jump the gun and say that, but I don't want to pump them up like that and then somehow get let down because it happens like that. I will say to your point about Denver and their guys having all their guys getting paid. They lost a real good piece in KCP to Orlando, and he got paid a little bit, and I'm happy for him. And I think he's a good fit in Orlando because they need some shooting anyway. So for him being gone out of Denver is even more reason that Michael Porter is going to have to step up because they don't have that outside shooter in KCP. And Portland, they're not going to be that good, and we know it. Them drafting Donovan Clingan could kind of seal the deal for DeAndre Ayton pretty soon. I think Jeremy Grant's probably going to be sent out. I don't know why he would want to finish out the prime of his career winning 25 games a year. I mean, he's getting shots, but I feel like
love to have him
the win. Yeah, he can come back
to have him.
We'll be all right sending him as a second unit 3.
Yeah, and one thing, and just going back to what you said about Denver, we saw that they suffered pretty much not having Bruce Brown and not having Jeff Green.
Yep.
So and I honestly feel, KCP is pretty much probably an even bigger blow than losing Bruce Brown. I think so. Even Bruce Brown, he's probably going to end up somewhere else. I don't see Toronto being his permanent stop, either. So, yeah, it should definitely be Thunder, Wolves. But like I said, Denver is still right there. They got Westbrook. And I think Westbrook is probably going to have a pretty good season playing on that particular team. I think that's probably a good fit for him.
So as much shade as I've thrown at Russell Westbrook, so when I moved to Oklahoma City, I was not a fan of Russell Westbrook. I did not like his style of game. I didn't like the fact that he shot as much as he did, it being as inconsistent as he was. But seeing him transition from the star player, averaging triple-double, to kind of a bench role and developing himself as a bench player, Denver is a great place for him. He can go into a winning atmosphere. He's got Joker, he's got Jamal, he's got all these guys, and he knows his role now. He knows his role is not 35 shots a game anymore. His role is to come in, hustle on defense, get to the rim, dish off, dunk it, whatever he's going to do. And if he accepts that role completely with Denver, he will be tough to handle coming off the bench.
Yeah, I agree, man. I definitely agree. But yeah, I think the Thunder, and I guess the only thing is, I think the Thunder will win the West, but I'm anxious to see the type of start that they have. Those first 10 games, That's going to show me a lot. Not having Hartenstein, they mess around and go 8 and if they at least get to 7-3. I think the rest of the Western Conference may be in a bit of trouble. You let them get out to 7-3 with Hartenstein not playing, it may be some trouble there.
So our first 10 are Nuggets, Bulls, Hawks, Spurs, Portland, Clippers, Orlando, Denver, and Houston. I don't see any that 7-3 is the worst. Is not the worst that we'd start right there. If we split with Denver, there's a real good chance that there's 8-2, if not 9-1.
Yeah, and that's what I'll be anxious to see, because I mean we've seen it before when teams make runs in the playoffs or get to the playoffs. So you're like, okay, they're here now. We're going to see X, Y, and Z, and then the next season comes and you just don't see it. I don't think that's going to happen with this particular team, but I am anxious to see, do they feel that pain of being eliminated by Dallas, in the playoffs? I'll be real anxious to kind of see what happens there.
The Hartenstein signing was to counteract Gafford, who absolutely destroyed us on the boards, and Derek Lively too. But Gafford,
Yep.
So I think Oklahoma City is going to win the division for sure. I think we've got a chance to win the West. Like you said, I think we're the best, deepest, most complete team on paper. Isaiah Joe shooting the ball. He just got a contract. Aaron Wiggins got a contract. Yep. You still got Kendrick Williams coming off the bench playing defense. You got Jay Will coming off the bench playing defense, taking charges, and I mean that's not counting the starting unit. So we're going to have Dort or Caruso most likely not start a lot of games when Hartenstein comes back. I feel like Hartenstein will be in the starting lineup when we're facing teams with the bigger bigs, the Lakers with AD, Joker, teams like that.
Rudy Gobert.
All right, we're gonna go on. I ain't talking about Rudy Gobert.
All right, let's go.
All right, it's the last division. I'm gonna try to cut a little short. We're running up on an hour right now. The Pacific Division, Nate's division. Oh yeah, and Nate is not gonna like where I'm going with this one. I'll start at the top. I think by player name value, this is one of the strongest divisions. By actual records and teams, it's probably going to be one of the weaker divisions. I feel like I've got Phoenix winning the division at 46 wins, and I'm not confident in that. I think that's going to rely a lot on Bradley Beal being healthy, KD being healthy, Devin Booker being healthy, which, I mean, they played like 7 games together last year. They were good when they were together, but it's keeping them all on the floor at the same time. Grayson Allen, Nurkic, good secondary pieces. I personally enjoyed watching Ocho Ighodaro last year in the NCAA tournament and toward the end of the season. I think he's a good player. I don't know how much he moves the needle for them. And the thing with them is like you were talking about with Denver, they're so strapped for money, strapped for draft picks. They have no moves. They're going to sign players to veteran minimums, and that's what they're going to have to do if anybody gets hurt. They can't trade anybody because they gave away everybody, bring in KD to bring in Bill to do all these things. I don't have much more to add to them. If they're one of those teams where if they're not healthy, they're not going to win a lot of games, as they proved last year. If they are healthy, they got 3 of the best players in the NBA. They got a legit big 3. So, I got Sacramento in second at 45 wins. I probably more than you like Sacramento. I really want to put them ahead of Phoenix. I just don't think the big 3 in Sacramento is as good as the big 3 in Phoenix. I think they'll be more healthy than the big 3 in Phoenix. Sabonis is Sabonis. De'Aaron Fox, he showed up last year, and I think he's going to get better. DeMar DeRozan is a great veteran. I don't know that he's going to fit maybe the style that they want to play. He's not a shooter. He's going to shoot mid range, and he's going to try to get to the bucket and slash and do all that, which Sabonis doesn't necessarily step out and shoot the ball. So I think that may cause a little bit of issues unless Sabonis, gets more assists with DeMar cutting and all that. Malik Monk and Keegan Murray are probably going to be their X factors for this team. They're going to have to score. They're going to have to shoot the ball to spread the floor for DeMar cutting, Sabonis. Yeah, it's kind of a toss-up. I don't know that they've learned how to win games yet either. Sacramento doesn't have the greatest pedigree of winning championships and winning culture, and outside of that run they had with Weber and Peja and all those guys. So, all right. I'm going to talk about your Lakers now.
Oh, yeah.
I got them at third. I'm showing them a little love.
Okay.
44 wins. A game behind Sacramento, 2 games behind Phoenix. I think it's going to be a logjam up there. They're the ultimate. If these guys are not healthy, they're not going to win. If LeBron or AD gets hurt, you can wrap it up. It's over.
I
with.
Agree.
I am obviously living in Oklahoma, getting to see Austin Reeves. I'm a huge fan of his. I grew up a Duke fan. I wanted to be JJ Redick, so obviously I like JJ. I think JJ can unlock Reeves. I think JJ can unlock Dalton Connect. I think Dalton Connect is going to be scary off the bench. He can shoot it. He's got an NBA ready body. I just don't know that they have the overall talent outside of AD, Braun, and Reeves. I'm not a fan of D'Lo. I think he could still get traded too, similar to a Brandon Ingram style. Who knows? Brandon Ingram might end up back in LA. Could happen. Never know. Rui Hachimura he was a good player in college, but he just hasn't done anything in the league noteworthy. Feel like he may get traded if the season's kind of teetering right there toward the trade deadline and they're looking at playing game. I feel like they may try to unload something, or maybe JJ can get the best out of them. I don't know.
I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping.
But yeah, it's all AD and it's all Braun. If they're playing 70+ games, what AD did last year, if he can do that again as far as playing time, yeah, AD's he'll be upper echelon of the league. I think Braun is ready to let him have the reins per se to be the star of the team. LeBron doesn't have a reason anymore other than to try to win title. I think that's all he's got on his mind, and getting Bronny set up. I mean, I know why they drafted him. I don't think Bronny will be much help, maybe other than to keep LeBron mentally young.
Yep.
And
I think that's it on the head, man. Keep going.
These last 2 teams, man. Golden State, man. I got them at 38 wins.
Ooh,
and that might be high.
All right.
Clay's gone. You know how I feel about Draymond, and he is aging. Steph is Steph. He's got to stay healthy. But you've got Wiggins, Kuminga, and Moody. Are these dudes ever going to be what they were supposed to be?
Yeah, I think Moody just got the bread too. They got Brandon P?
Yeah, Podzinski, or I can't even know how to say his name.
Yeah.
Kuminga played good when he got good run last year. But, is he going to be ever the top 5 pick? Moody was a top, 10 pick? Wiggins was a 1-1. Adding Buddy Hield to fill in the role of Clay as a younger version of Clay, I really like. I like him good as a player. I like his fit alongside Steph because all he's got to do is get open and he can shoot it too. They just don't have depth. They don't have bigs. They don't have the players that they once had.
Yeah,
So
that's true, man. That's true. And I think one of those, that's one of those teams too. Like you, if they have that type of season, with what you just stated in terms of 38 wins, what moves could they potentially make? What can they?
Kerr better watch himself. He's getting to the point where it's very similar to Bill Belichick, who, when him and Tom Brady were together, were the greatest coach quarterback duo ever. And the minute Tom Brady leaves, Belichick can't get to 500. So now, as Steph ages and Clay aged and Draymond aged and now Clay's out, if they can't win, was it more about them, or was it more about what Kerr was doing for them?
Yeah, that's true, man. That is true. So it's gonna be interesting. The only thing that I'll say, even about Phoenix, I do think Phoenix is going to win that division. But Tyus Jones can lead the league in assists this season. I really, because I mean, when we saw it on not so good, a not so good Washington team, um, with the shooters that he's going to have around him, this man could easily have about 10, 11 assists a game.
Yeah.
Like easily, he should average that.
And
So
he wouldn't care one bit if he never shot the ball ever.
exactly,
Ever.
exactly.
And when you can kick out the book, you can kick out the bill, you can kick the KD, or hand it off and let them, whatever. Yeah. So my last team is going to be the Clippers. I
The
think you're a
Clippers.
little higher on the Clippers than I am, and that may be a little biased considering we have their pick. I want them to be bad.
I know you do.
I think I saw where it was protected of some type, maybe not, whatever. But whatever we can get the highest capability of, that's what I want. So I want the Clippers to be bad enough to get us the best pick possible. Because if the Thunder's core stays where it is, and we have a top 3, 4 pick in this draft with the kids from Rutgers and Cooper Flagg from Duke, those are game-changing type players that we could add to the best roster on paper. So, I mean, I know you are high on James Harden this year, and without Paul George and with Kawhi out, James Harden may unlock another thing we haven't even seen James Harden do, which is hard to believe because we've seen James Harden do a lot of things. Harden's going to get his 30, 35 points. He's going to get 10 dimes while Kawhi's out. Terrence Mann is your second best player if Kawhi's not playing. Ivica Zubac. Tell me where they get more. I got 33 wins. Tell me where they get more than 35 wins. Like I said, I know you're a little higher on them than I am, but
Yeah, and I think from Ty Lue, and that's really the reason why I'm going to give Ty Lue. I'm going to give him a lot of credit. He kind of reminds me of a Spo in a sense, in terms of, even though Spo has a much better team than what Ty Lue is going to have, I feel as though he's going to have them playing competitive basketball. I do think it's going to be the James Harden show. He's going to have to do so much. He's going to have to pass. He's going to have to score. He's going to have to rebound. He's going to have to play defense. He's going to have to do all of these things in order for them.
Notice what you just said. James Harden's about to play defense.
Defense. Yeah.
If that's what it's going to take for them to win,
yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. But yeah, that's kind of my take on them. They're interesting, but yeah, Harden's going to have free range, man, to do whatever. No Kawhi, no Westbrook, no PG. Here you go, Harden. You know what I'm saying? Give us those Houston flashes.
Yeah,
that's basically what it's going to be, man.
All right. So that's what we got for ranking the divisions and teams this year. We'd probably come back and do a playoff scenario and all that.
Yeah.
What I want to end with is a couple hot takes. I had said 3. We're a little over an hour right now. We can do a couple. It can be, 1 pepper, 2 pepper, 3 pepper, whatever you want to do. I'm gonna let you open it up, and we'll do 2 or 3 of these and get on out of here.
All right. So these are pretty hot. Well, the last one is hot. You may kind of agree with the first two, but pretty much.
I'm gonna interrupt you real quick. I have one that I think we may be on and very, very close on. This is one of my
Okay.
my 2-star. So I'm gonna let you go ahead. I'm curious to see if we're close on this one.
Gotcha. Okay. Los Angeles Lakers. All right. I think they're going to be better than what people think they're going to be. I think they're going to be a playoff team. And I think prior to that trade deadline, they're going to make a trade that's going to shape the landscape of the Western Conference. That's the first thing. The second, James Harden is going to return to being an elite player in the NBA. He's going to return to being an elite player in the NBA. My hottest take, this one is pretty hot. Ben Simmons.
I should have known you were over there.
Ben Simmons is going to be playing all-star caliber basketball this NBA season. Those will be my 3 hot takes. What you got? What you got?
That is the hottest of hot. Whatever.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be pretty hot.
Carolina Reaper, that is all of it mixed in one for Ben Simmons to be playing all-star level basketball. Ben Simmons hasn't played all-star level basketball in 5 years.
Yeah, I agree. But this is going to be the one.
He's still in Brooklyn, right? I don't even remember where he's at now. He's still in Brooklyn.
Yeah, still in Brooklyn. He's still there.
Who is he going to pass the ball to?
That's pretty. Killer
Cam Johnson and Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas is going to get 40 shots a game.
He is.
I get it. But Cam Thomas is also going to get his own shots. Ben Simmons is not going to shoot the ball. He's going to pass. Cam Thomas is going to dribble around. He's going to come off a screen somewhere else, and he's going to launch, right? So Simmons is not even going to get assists off of that. He's not going to score. I know this is a hot take, but I'm just, you know how I feel about this. Like we've gone back on Ben Simmons for 2 years now. So
Claxton, you can't forget about the easy life for Claxton. That's about 3 assists a game right there.
I'll give you that. Claxton, he got paid. He's gonna be a double machine this year. I feel like so. I'll go. Ben Simmons will be playing at all-star level, but whatever.
All right, what you got?
You're gonna enjoy this one.
Okay.
This is probably more toward my 2-star. Dalton Knecht wins the Rookie of the Year.
Oh, I would love it. I would love it. Because if he wins Rookie of the Year, I know what that's going to do to the team. So,
again,
they would have to – for him to win, they will probably have to be a pretty high seed.
I have to be a pretty high seed. Before, but, I mean, if you think about how strong the West is, you're going to have your 3 juggernauts in the Northwest, and then kind of everybody else is just going to be lumped together.
Fill in.
In Dallas. I mean, you within 49 to 43 wins, you're going to have Houston, Memphis, New Orleans, Lakers, Phoenix, Sacramento, maybe Golden State. You're going to have half the league in that 6-win range right there. So for them to get there, he can still put up good numbers coming off the bench or starting, whatever he's going to end up doing.
That's true.
Now,
okay.
I got one more, and it's funny because that's another Laker hot take.
Okay.
Anthony Davis finishes top 6 in the MVP voting.
Top 6. Okay.
When I looked at it, his odds the other night, he's in the 15 range. I think JJ can unlock more of his outside shooting. Everybody knows he's got the guard skills and the whole story of him growing a foot or whatever it was over a summer, basically, and going from a guard to a 7-footer. Mm-hmm. He still has those skills. If JJ unlocks that and he starts hitting a couple threes a game and getting 2 blocks and a steal a game and 27 points, 12 rebounds, I think he's going to be up there and probably pass like a Giannis type stat line and get in the top 6-ish.
I can see it. And honestly, yeah, it's going to come down to the record. The record is going to play a big portion. You know, Luka's going to be there. SGA is going to be there. You know, Ant-Man is going to be there. Tatum is going to be there. So yeah, six may be a good number.
So and he's going to lose a lot of shine too, just being that he's playing with LeBron. I mean, he's gonna get his buckets. He's gonna get his rebounds. He's gonna get his assists. He's LeBron. He can get it when he wants to get it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's going to let AD, like I said, take the reins, and I think he's going to let AD take the team. And I think AD is going to be good this year.
I think so, man. I like both of your takes, man. I think those are pretty good hot takes there.
And I got one more. This will probably be my one pepper. This will be your normal store-bought jalapeno right here.
Okay.
I think Jalen Duren leads the league in rebounds. I think he finished like 6th last year, and he was about 5th or 6th on the odds this year. But I think he leads the league. I think he's going to get upwards of 13 and a half rebounds a game. I think he's that good on the boards.
I can see it, man. And I'm anxious to see what the lineup is going to be like. What I'm assuming that they're going to have Tobias probably at the 3, maybe the 4.
You probably got Stu at the 4.
So he'll play the 3.
You probably have Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham somewhere up around the backcourt, something like that. I don't know. Ivy didn't get a lot of run last year, and I don't know if that was just him and Monty button heads or whatever. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there. But I see Tobias probably playing the 3.
I can see it, man. I can see it. So it's going to be a fun season. I know the Boston has kicked off, so I'm ready to see, how they're going to approach the game and how they're going to approach the season. But it's going to be a fun season, man.
Yeah. All right, man. We about an hour and 12 minutes, and we covered this. I don't know that we'll do another one this long, but I enjoyed it. We talk all day about basketball anyway, so we might as well let somebody else listen to us and tell us if we're dumb or whatever, or if we got good takes.
For sure.
I'm interested to see. Once we post this, I hope we get some comments and some shares and getting some people watching this, because we're going to try to do, I don't know, maybe a couple per week, something like that, kind of catch up on some game action or injuries. Or I know we play each other in fantasy next week, so we'll probably do a little trash talking then. And
oh yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
So, but anyway, we'll get this posted, and y'all like it, subscribe it, comment on it, argue with us. I don't care. I'll argue back all day long. It don't matter to me.
Yeah.
And we'll post our Twitter handles and things like that in the description, and y'all can follow us and argue with us on there too. I don't care.
All right. Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
All right, man. I'm out.
All right, man.
Yep.